Hello Magic Makers, welcome to Storytime with Mombierella. This is a young adult fiction and may be inappropriate for some younger viewers. The Odd Sisters, A Tale of the Three Witches by Serena Valentino. Copyright, Disney Enterprises Incorporated, 2019. Chapter 7, Mrs. Tittlebottom and the Marzipan Menagerie. Cersei perched the Odd Sisters' house in a field filled with brilliant golden wildflowers at twilight, just as her mother's had done years earlier. Mrs. Tittlebottom's cottage was silhouetted against a periwinkle sky and surrounded by an overgrown garden with blossoming trees that filled the air with a sticky, sweet scent. Beyond the wildflower field were the cliffs overlooking the ocean. Snow remembered the scene in Gothel's story, in which Gothel snuck out of the cellar to revive herself with the flower before the soldiers came to seize it for their queen. Snow never pictured her as the old witch. She always saw her as young and vibrant with her sisters, and being there in that place where Gothel had felt so alone made Snow's heart ache for all Gothel's hopes and dreams that never had the chance to come true. Cersei and Snow called out to Mrs. Tittlebottom as they approached the back door, hoping she would pop her sweet face out of the kitchen door to say hello, but she didn't respond. Mrs. Tittlebottom? Mrs. Tittlebottom? The women found Mrs. Tittlebottom sitting at the kitchen table surrounded by marzipan animals and beautifully decorated birthday cakes. The sweet confections covered the kitchen table and all the counters, and they were balanced on the window ledges, too. Mrs. Tittlebottom, it's me, Snow White. I've come with Cersei to check on you. The woman said nothing. She just stared off into the distance. Cersei, I think she could use a cup of tea, said Snow, taking the old woman gently by the hand and trying to rouse her. When Cersei went to take the teapot out of the cabinet, she noticed the candy menagerie had been piled on plates and bowls, and inside the teacups. She took a marzipan kitten off the top of the teapot and checked inside before preparing the tea. Mrs. Tittlebottom, do you remember us? Snow White's heart broke as she looked at the poor woman, who hadn't even noticed them yet. Mrs. Tittlebottom? The woman finally raised her gaze, and her face lit up when she saw Snow White. Of course I remember you, dear. I'm so happy you've come back. Snow White hugged the old woman tightly. I would offer to make you some tea, but I see sweet Cersei is already taking care of things. Cersei blushed. I'm sorry, Mrs. Tittlebottom. I thought it would be nice for you to have someone wait on you for a change. The old woman smiled. Don't you fret, dear. I'm happy you're here. I see you've been busy, Snow White said, smiling at the confections scattered around the kitchen. Yes, I suppose I have. Mrs. Tittlebottom looked around the room as if she didn't know how all the animals had gotten there. Maybe we should go into the sitting room or the library while Cersei makes us some tea, Snow White said, shooting a concerned look at Cersei. Oh, I never go into the library. Never. Not the library or the cellar, said the befogged old woman. Well, I hope you don't mind my going into Gothel's old library later, Mrs. Tittlebottom. There's some books in there I think might be of use to us. Mrs. Tittlebottom gave Snow a sly look. Oh, I don't think Gothel would mind. It's not like she can object now, can she? She said, laughing. Why don't she just take them? I'd be happy to be rid of the foul things. She seemed to remember something unpleasant. Come on, let's go to the sitting room, Mrs. T. Snow ushered Mrs. Tittlebottom through the kitchen and dining room to the lovely little sitting room. The room was cozy and old-fashioned. The walls were covered in brown wallpaper, splashed with delicate pink flowers, and the table with white lace doilies. A perfect home for an old woman. How are you feeling, Mrs. Tittlebottom? The sweet woman looked as if she were considering her answer, but never got around to voicing it. Mrs. Tittlebottom? Snow sat down next to her and took her by the hand. Mrs. Tittlebottom, is there anything I can do for you? Just then, Cersei came into the room, carrying a heaping tray. Ladies, I have the tea, and I've made some little sandwiches. Mrs. Tittlebottom looked up at Cersei and smiled. Thank you, dear. I was just about to tell Snow she shouldn't worry about poor old Mrs. Tittlebottom. I'm fine, dears, just fine. I've everything I could ever need. Not very many can say that. Cersei put the tea tray down and poured cups for the three of them. How are your sleeping beauties? She asked. Mrs. Tittlebottom got a sparkle in her eye and seemed to stir from her waking slumber at the mention of her charges. Oh, they're just fine, just fine. Cersei passed Mrs. Tittlebottom a cup of tea. Snow was worried she might be a little overwhelmed now that her memories are coming back. We wanted to make sure you were okay. Mrs. Tittlebottom put down her tea and reached out for Cersei's hand. Come sit down with us. Cersei sat on the other side of Mrs. Tittlebottom. I remember everything, and I'm fine. I promise. I'm just very tired. Snow kissed the old woman on the cheek. You're such a dear, but really, you girls worry too much. Cersei passed Mrs. Tittlebottom the plate of little sandwiches. Thank you, dear. May I ask why you're really here? Is it about those books? Oh, don't get me wrong. I know you have kind hearts, the two of you. But this old woman's fairy tale is over. I've done my duty, and protected the sleeping beauties. But my job is done. And what I want now, more than anything else, is to rest. What do you mean your job is done? I mean just that, dears. Primrose and Hazel, they woke up a few days ago. What? Woke up? But how? Said Cersei, getting to her feet. Where are they? They said they were going home, my dear. Home? But how were they brought back to life? How did it happen? Mrs. Tittlebottom smiled. The flowers, dear. It was the flowers. Didn't you see them when you came in? Cersei rushed to the window and gasped at the glowing lights coming from the field. Snow, look! The field was filled with brilliant golden flowers. Their light was so bright, Cersei could see it reflected on Snow White's face. Mrs. Tittlebottom, where did these flowers come from? Mrs. Tittlebottom laughed. Those are Gothel's flowers. Snow and Cersei looked at each other, thunderstruck. The magic flowers? But how did they get here? Mrs. Tittlebottom laughed again. Well, dears, they grew, like flowers tend to do. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you haven't had a chance to, please take a second, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, comment down below, share with a friend, and check out some of the other Villain series chapters and books as well. Join us next time, and remember, let it go and keep moving forward. Have a magical day. Bye!